Good evening, my friends. This is Paul, and tonight I'll be reviewing for you Super Mario Party Jamboree Switch 2 Edition plus Jamboree TV. Now you might be wondering, Paul, why the heck did it take you so long to review Jamboree TV when you reviewed Super Mario Party Jamboree right when it came out? And that's because I thought this expansion looked so stupid. It annoyed me so much I didn't even bother renting it. I just said, oh, this just looks terrible. Like it's the epitome of all the Wii and DS era gimmicky nonsense. But then, my friend Matthew, the same one who's generously supported me on Patreon and given me so many incredible gifts, decided that he was going to give me a download code for Jamboree TV. So I said, well, I should probably actually review something that he sent me. So, now that we are well removed from all of the controversy behind this, I can give my own genuine, honest thoughts about the expansion. So first off, as soon as you start up the game, you have a new menu that gives you 3 options. There's an entire menu option given to playing on Mega Wiggler's Tree Party using Game Share, which for those of you that are unfamiliar, it means as long as one person has a copy of Jamboree plus Jamboree TV, then even players on the Switch 1 can all play together as long as their systems are within wireless range. I had no way to test this because I don't have anyone that I can use Game Share with, but Mega Wiggler's Tree Party was a decent board, better than Goomba Lagoon at least. Then we have just flat out Super Mario Party Jamboree. It's the Switch 1 version, and it has no connectivity to the Jamboree TV section whatsoever. You can't take any actions to get more achievements, and all of the exclusive modes that Jamboree TV doesn't have, such as Bowser Kaboom Squad and Koopathlon, are completely locked to this mode. In fact, when this launched, they didn't even bother upgrading the resolution and the graphics to make it up to Switch 2 standards. So if you get the physical version of this expansion and don't download the update data, then you'll be stuck with playing with Switch 1 graphics and resolution on your Switch 2. I've already played Super Mario Party Jamboree quite a lot, and the focus of this video is on the expansion. But there are some new Mario Party modes, so I did at least get a chance to look at how good the boards look using the Switch 2's upgraded specs. So now let's get into the main attraction, which is Jamboree TV. This takes you to yet another menu where you choose 4 different options, and unfortunately 2 of the 4 options require you to play either locally or by yourself. So 2 offline modes. Okay, whatever you say. There's free play, which allows you to, as the name suggests, play any of the mini-games in this collection. Well, the mini-games in Jamboree TV, I should say. You have to go all the way into the Switch 1 version of Jamboree to play those games, such as the Bowser Kaboom Squad games. There's Mario Party, which, as the name suggests, lets you play the classic Mario Party rules, but now there are additional features to this to make it take advantage of both the Switch 2's accessories, as well as just to offer some really cool new ways of playing. For starters, if you have a camera plugged in, then you can trigger the game keeping track of your face, so they can put your face above your character as you move around the board. If you get a star, it'll zoom in on your face so that you can like grimace at all your friends. If you land on a chance time space, and there's this really cool effect of a roulette wheel of everyone's faces spinning around. I did not get a chance to test this because I do not have a Switch 2 camera, but this seems like probably the best use of the Switch 2 camera that I have seen thus far. Even if you don't have a camera, there are still 2 other really cool rule sets that you can play with. In tag team rules, you can actually partner up 2 by 2, which is great because Mario Party has historically been known as the friendship killer, and when my friend and I played this online, it felt like we could actually work together for a change in a Mario Party game. So how it works is that you pick which 2 players are going to be on a team, and they all share coins, stars, and items. I think that this mode was locked to the Switch 2 because it's a great way to utilize game chat so that you can tell each other what to do in the mini games and which paths to take. You also get a new item in this mode called Together Dice, which basically replaces the Jamboree buddies because they won't appear in this mode. When you roll these dice, your partner will temporarily transport to your space and roll a second die. So you'll essentially move double, and then anything that you land on will be doubled, just like you would if you had a Jamboree buddy. But then your partner will revert back to his or her original space after the turn ends. There are also rally spaces where if you land on it, your partner will be teleported to your space, and if you land on your partner's space, then you will get 5 coins, possibly more in the home stretch. And basically, as far as I could tell, all of the minigames were either 4-player minigames, where whatever total coin amounts that you get is just doubled onto your team, or 2 versus 2 minigames, where you'll always have your partner on your team. And this was, in my opinion, the most fun I had in this entire expansion. Because 1, I got to use game chat to play it, and 2, I love cooperation over competition. And it's a real shame that it took them this long to incorporate it into Jamboree. You might be asking, wait, didn't it take them that long to incorporate it into Mario Party in general? Mario Party 5 had a cooperative mode, and I'm pretty sure Mario Party 7 did as well. Speaking of Mario Party 5, I kind of miss how every single combination of characters had a unique team nickname, so I wish they would have brought this back, but it's still a really fun moveset. Then the last new rule set for Mario Party mode is Frenzy Rules, where the game goes to the home stretch right away, which means you only have 5 turns. Each player starts out with 50 coins, a star, and double dice. You will get 2 special events, which normally are reserved for the home stretch, and you will have all the blue spaces and red spaces doubled by default, and if you land on another player, you will get into a duel. I highly recommend playing Mario's Rainbow Castle as your first board here, because 1, I'm nostalgic for it because I used to play Mario Party 1 all the time, and 2, I just feel like the linear design of the map suits itself really well to players frantically trying to race up the board as much as they can and figure out when to use the initial double dice. And I found that this was a great change of pace, and it fixed one of my biggest complaints with the early Mario Party games, and that's that the board stretched on for way too long. So for Frenzy Rules, it's really good for people that are in a hurry and don't want to do all the boring stuff in Pro Rules, which, for some bizarre reason, are not available if you're playing in Jamboree TV mode. You literally have to go into the Switch 1 version just to play the rule set that most people say was what Mario Party should have been for the competitive crowd all along. Yet another reason why I think this expansion was rushed. Next we move on to Bowser Live, which in my opinion is the worst mode in this game. Even worse than any of the stuff in base Mario Party Jamboree, and yes, that includes the dreadful Paratroopa Flight School. And I don't think I'm in the minority by saying this. It looks good. Like, it has an introduction where there's some really cool lighting effects and some smoke particles to announce Bowser coming onto the stage, but the minigames themselves are kind of dreadful. Basically, Bowser rolls roulette, so instead of moving around on a board, you're just plopped into the minigames. You always play in teams of 2, just like in tag team rules, which might have been the inspiration for having those rules in the first place. And you have to work together with your partner using either the microphone, the camera, or both. Again, as I do not have a camera, I was unable to test this for myself, but from what I've seen, these minigames don't work all that great. They're cool in concept, but in execution, from what I can tell, it seems like the computer players always have an advantage. As far as the microphone games that I was able to test, I was so embarrassed trying to find a time to do this without seeming like an idiot to the rest of my family. But there are only 3 microphone minigames, so if you do not have a camera like yours truly, this mode is going to get old very, very quickly, especially because it's only 3 turns long. And these minigames are Bowser Chicken, where you and your partner have to shout "Go" at the same time to make your car move forward, and you have to get as close to the number 10 as possible without going past the number 10, otherwise Bowser will squish your car. Honestly, I found this minigame quite easy, because it didn't seem like my partner's actions really mattered. Again, I couldn't play this online, so I had to play it with a generic Toad as a partner, and I got 10s quite a lot, because it just all depends on how loud you want to shout go. Then there's Speak Up Bowser Jr., where you shout go again. Variety is wonderful in this package, isn't it? And depending on how loud you shout go, it'll make Bowser Jr. fly higher in his Koopa Clown car, and if you're silent, then he'll descend, and you have to try to grab as many coins as possible. This was pretty hard, and I ended up losing spectacularly against my opponents in this minigame. And then finally, the one that doesn't require you to say go is a rhythm game, where when your player's icon appears on the screen, you have to clap in time to the beat. I think they wanted to bring back Donkey Konga, and failed miserably, because it seemed like the game never read my movements, and when it did, I literally had to get right next to the microphone to get them to work. I'm glad that I didn't constantly have to be clapping, that the game would do a pretty good job of alternating between me and the various people. Now, something I forgot to mention is that this mode and the next that we're going to talk about utilize the talking flower, which this was the first time he had been seen since Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and he already got a new voice actor. I wonder if Mick Winger didn't realize that the talking flower would be a recurring character, and that's why he was replaced so quickly. You can still hear his old quips in Super Mario Bros. Wonder Switch 2 edition if you choose to play the Switch 1 version, though, so it's not gone forever. But anyway, he's pretty annoying in this game. It just seems like he's very out of place, especially because he wasn't in the Switch 1 version of Jamboree, and I think they wanted to, emphasize more sales because they wanted to capitalize on the nostalgia of Super Mario Bros. Wonder. But I found that the talking flower was just really annoying in these minigames, especially because he'd shout your name over and over again in the clapping minigame, and I wonder if, his talking influenced my claps? Either that or the microphone was just terrible at picking things up. You can turn off his voice in the options menu, though, even if I think it's stupid that that's, the only option that this game has to offer, because gotta love Nintendo and having lousy options menus. Now we finally get on to Carnival Coaster, and this requires you to play in mouse mode. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of mouse mode. I tend to prefer when this is used for point-and-click games like Shoot and Order and Ace Attorney, but it works surprisingly well here. The HD Rumble does a great job of simulating what it feels like to ride on a roller coaster, and the premise is that you pick a partner to ride with you, and then you use the cursor to pull down the railing of a roller coaster, and then you choose one of 5 courses, and you just shoot at various enemies that come your way to give you extra time on the clock. And every so often, you'll play a minigame, and these minigames are all brand new minigames specific to Jamboree TV that use mouse mode. Most of these are actually surprisingly fun, albeit none that I would want to replay anytime soon. They feel like they're nice novelties when they come up, but then you're ready to move on. I do think the HD Rumble is used really well here, especially in the Bob-omb spraying game. It really does feel like you're shaking a can of paint, sound effects and all. But the problem with these roller coaster courses is that besides the really cool cinematography of being on a roller coaster, which I love in real life, these courses are over way too quickly, and they're also stupid easy. If you're even just decent at the minigames, it's basically guaranteed that you're gonna win. Even the hardest course, which has a strict time limit and the gimmick of Imposter Bowser chasing you, is still pretty easy as long as you're decent at the game. The first 2 courses are my favorite, mainly because they have the best cinematography, and the others are kind of just okay. The enemies tend to be in really easy patterns, and they don't really attack you. They're kind of just there to give you an extra opportunity to have points. Honestly, the timer was just so generous that I kind of just shot at the enemy so that I could have something to do. I do think it's a nice touch that if you hold up the Joy-Con when the roller coaster is going down an incline, you do get extra points on the clock, so the game wants to make sure that your hand is active the entire time. But overall, I found that Carnival Coaster just had very limited appeal because the courses were too short, the talking flower was really annoying, and the mini games were one and done types of deals. Now, as far as my verdict as a whole of Jamboree TV, I did really like playing the new Mario Party modes with my friend Matthew. I thought that it was a great use of game chat, and I liked that they give you the option to turn on the mouse mode minigames for regular Mario Party, but not to mix and match between them and the standard motion minigames from the base game. So that's a bit of an odd omission, but I guess they must have patched the game when early reviewers said that you couldn't toggle the mouse mode games in regular Mario Party play. If you're not playing Mario Party, this expansion is very lackluster. The fact that the Switch 1 version is so segregated from the main game and there's no crossover whatsoever, it feels almost like this package was rushed, which is a shame because the boards look fantastic in the upgraded resolution, and some of the special effects in Bowser Live were really mesmerizing, and the cinematography on the roller coasters was really great. But I felt like this was just an excuse to say, hey, let's make a Mario Party game with mouse mode and the camera and the microphone without making a new Mario Party game, so they just shoved it into Jamboree at the last moment. Now, this expansion costs $20, which I think is an absolute ripoff. If you don't get it for free like I did, I suggest just skip this and stick to just plain old Super Mario Party Jamboree. For $60, you still get a really good selection of modes and boards, and unlike Mario Party Superstars, there's a good mixture of old and new. Jamboree TV, I would say the only reason I would even remotely recommend this is if the two Mario Party rule variations sound appealing, like if you like cooperation, cool. But if that's the case, then just wait for a sale. Pay no more than $5 for this expansion, unless you're gonna like play Mario Party every single day and exclusively play those offline Mario Party modes. Especially because you need local play for Carnival Coaster and Bowser Live, which they're not even that great to begin with, but you would think it would be better with friends, but you can't play them online, so it just feels like a big waste of time. I think I like this better than most people do, but I don't like it very much, and while I am grateful for Matthew for gifting me this, and I did have a lot of fun when I was playing with him, playing by myself was dreadfully dull, and I don't see myself returning to this anytime soon unless if he's there. So avoid it if you can, but if it's on sale for like $5, only if you're a die-hard Mario Party sucker. So with that, thank you very much for watching, my friends. I hope that you all have a wonderful day, and until the next time, remember to keep the faith, stay epic, and God bless. Bye!